info. Today we're going to do another pick a card reading. There will be 2 piles, and I'm going to draw a Celtic cross for each of the piles. There's not a specific question, it's going to be like an energy check. So the piles will be determined by this Work Your Light Oracle deck. So pile 1 has the initiation, rite of passage, crossing the threshold. It's quite a dark photo. And pile 2 wow. I'm just going to take that one. It says, Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundations, divine plan. So much lighter in contrast to pile 1. So let's take a minute to decide. Are you pile 1 or are you pile 2? Sorry about that glare, they're holographic. Okay, so we'll begin with pile 1. The initiation, rite of passage, crossing the threshold. You've been in kind of a cave of sorts. Maybe you've developed some agoraphobic tendencies like I have. Haven't been leaving the house. And maybe you have been. Maybe you've been out of the house very much, but your identity, your personality, your truth and your dreams, they've been in a dark place, as in they've been hidden. You've been hiding them, maybe even from yourself. You are in an energy where you're about to come out of that cave and you feel it. And it's like a rite of passage. You were meant to be in that hidden darkness, in that hidden corner. It was part of a divine plan. But now something has opened up for you or is opening up for you. So let's see what's going on. And let's try to angle it so maybe you can see the cards better. The tarot that I'm using is called the Hide Tarot. It's one of the coolest tarot decks I've ever used. Ever. You'll see why. Okay. For pile 1, the initiation, rite of passage. What are the energies? What are we working with here? We've got the snail with a challenge in, the wolf, as in the hermit with a challenge in, the Knight of Cups. You've been in hermit mode, somewhere in the cave, hiding in your shell, but it's all part of a divine pattern. You see that Fibonacci sequence on the shell? You've been in a place not just of hiding, but of learning, knowing, building, growing. And your challenge is the wolf, as in the Knight of Cups, as in something in your soul is howling out, but it's not able to go for it. in the physical reality right now. There's a lot of trepidation about emerging from this shell. Unconscious energies are the star, as in the angel. This is what's hidden from you. This is what's in your unconscious, but this also represents what's coming up to the surface. Your past energy is the vision. 8 of Wands. That makes sense. So many circles. Your conscious energy is the disguise. Knight of Pentacles. Depicted by that leaf plant. It looks like a leaf. That leaf insect. It looks like a leaf, but it's actually a plant. People can't trace its movement, though it is moving. Another Knight card. And your future or approaching energy is the 6 of Pentacles, depicted by the mask. You're coming at this from a place of 3 of Cups. The fish. This is the skill that you're using right now. The climate of the situation is the Ghost, or the 9 of Wands. You're coming off maybe like a ghost to your environment, the people around you. They see you, then they don't. They know you, then they don't. They look for you, but you're not there, though they can feel you in their heart. Your greatest fear and or wish is the 4 of Swords, aka the moss. And your final outcome in this energy is the King of Pentacles, the fossil. Here we have that Fibonacci sequence again, a lot like the shell of your current energy. On the bottom of the deck we have the Moth, the Page of Wands. So the energy that you're coming from that has spilled you out into this current energy is the vision. You had a vision, you wanted to go after it, and you perhaps did. But you hit a wall, or you felt maybe discouraged, or you felt like too much action took place too fast and you needed to get back into your shell. Do some more inner work or studying up. Your conscious goal is to move at your own pace and to be quite undetectable even. You don't even want to be seen in the work that you are creating right now. Like you want your final product to be seen when it is perfected, but you do not want to bring it out to the surface to invite spectators while you're working, while you're moving. It trips you up. I can relate. You're moving to a place that, again, is earthy energy, Pentacles energy with the mask, or the 6 of Pentacles. You will find a way to allow people to observe you as you are on your journey, working to create this perfect thing. But you will find a way to balance what it is you want to keep private to yourself. You will show a mask to the world, not in a disingenuous or insincere way, but in a way that allows you to conserve your own energy. There's something about being seen and open at all times that does rob people of their energy, especially if they are a hermit, introverted by nature. What's private to you is sacred to you, but you can't live only in privacy. So you're in a phase where you're going after your dreams at a very steady pace, and you're learning to allow people to spectate, allow people to know here and there what you're doing without being affected by it, by their judgment, by their impressions. Your unconscious energy, what's coming up to the surface more and more as you do this, is a profound hope and faith. The more that you do and get done, the more success that you feel, the more it allows this angel energy to come up and support you. This can mean a lot of different things. There is something deep inside you that is very pure, very open and full of light. It's so big and bright that you're scared to bring it to the surface and shine it outward. But this can also represent what you don't see that's all around you, is this angel power. As they say, divine protection. You are very much on your journey. As I said, it was a divine plan for you to go inward. That was determined for you by the stars, by your ancestor spirit guides. Just as in this moment, it is part of the divine plan for you to break out. The more that you do, the more you will feel the waves of their support. They love what you do. They're proud of you. So, you're learning more and more how to maintain your boundaries, as in how to maintain a strong inner base without it being wishy-washy or muted out by the impression that other people have of you in that moment. Likely you are a very empathetic and or telepathic person. When you are around people, you can feel what it is they see about you, but it confuses you because sometimes it makes you feel like that's the reality of who you are. You're still learning how to balance between, okay, this is who I am, as opposed to this image that I was able to pick up on that somebody else has of me. That's something that you're learning how to do more and more. You're learning to swim with the fishes while maintaining your own personal power in that school of fish. Little by little, you may be reaching out more to friends or members of your community because they give you support. They already have an image of you that is very true to who you are, so that helps you very much maintain that solid base. So you're starting little by little. You're not sharing with the whole world. You're sharing very much with yourself and a few close people that you trust. That you trust to maintain a positive, accurate image of you. But for the most part, the way people see you is very mysterious. You might be somebody who gets called a ghost because maybe you don't answer messages immediately. So people want to turn that into something negative because it triggers them and perhaps their own fears or insecurities of not being seen. They project it on you. That might be something that you're dealing with. But never mind that bullshit, okay? You know yourself. You answer people when you have the energy. The end. But aside from seeing you as this mysterious wraith, these people also see you as incredibly strong. What people know about you is that you're mysterious, but especially mysteriously resilient. You're able to keep pushing forward, standing your ground. People can see that about you, and they're quite in awe because they don't know how you do it. They see that you have started something in the past and that you have stopped without completing that cycle, because they don't know that you are completing that cycle in your own way. Just because they can't see it in their reality, they imagine that you have stopped and are not completing the cycle, when you definitely are. What you hope for is privacy. What you hope for is to remain in your own energy without the interference of others. You hope to heal this major wound that you've experienced, that you mostly have healed, but now you're in a phase of coming out of it. But some old wound still triggers you more and more as you move forward. I think that it's the trauma of other people's false perceptions of you. And in your final outcome, you have the fossil, which is so interesting. It's like this hermit shell that we noticed on the snail in the very beginning, where you are now, becomes a fossil that you shed somehow. You leave this shell not behind to the past, you just are able to leave it behind when you leave and go to work or work on your project or express yourself in public. But it will become a thing of the past very soon. There's a very distinct message here that says, in whatever it is you do, don't obsess over the perfectionism. There is a perfection in your being, as I see with the Fibonacci sequence in the beginning and the end of your reading. It's like bookends to your reading. Who you are in each moment and the way that you behave and get shit done is already perfect, divinely perfect, like a mathematical sequence. The more you strive for perfection, the lower it brings you, because the paradox is that a human being could never be perfect because we already are above perfection. The more we try to make ourselves perfect and fit into a box, the more we're bringing ourselves down to that level. Perfect doesn't mean anything other than a simple standard. Who you are exists above and beyond that standard. So to try to strive for perfection, to see the 2 + 2 = 4, it's a box, is a way to cut off your own limbs as a means to fit into something that's less than you. Perfection should never be your goal, because it will bring you down to that level. Being yourself, knowing yourself and your truth and expressing it in whatever moment, however it comes out, it puts you above perfection. It makes you divine. So this is what we're seeing here. This is your energy right now. You're doing a great job. Angel Spirit is always watching you. She sees you, and she supports everything you do. She has a degree of knowing, so she can't be surprised, but at the same time, you do have free will, and what you do with it is a surprise to her. And there's nothing you can do that's going to disappoint that angel energy, whether that's the energy around you or that unconscious energy, that light you carry. Remember that there's nothing you can do that will ultimately ever disappoint it, dismay it, disgust it, discourage it. It's kind of like Morpheus in the Matrix says, it happened as it happened, and it couldn't have happened any other way. How do we know? Because we're still alive. And the whole point of being alive is that it's the equation of the divine. As long as you're alive in each moment and acting from your sincerest, most genuine self and wishes, you exist above perfection. And it was meant to be, and it'll always be meant to be. Whichever way you go, you can do no wrong. That's what you're learning. That's what this rite of passage is all about. Crossing the threshold, whatever that means to you. More specifically to me, it looks like crossing your own threshold that you've set for yourself. Standing at the edge of the cliff, looking at all the possibilities, and finally just boop, diving in. It was part of a divine plan. And you marched to the beat of that plan. Beautiful. Okay. So now we're going to move on to pile 2. I'm recording on my cell phone today because I thought maybe it's a better picture quality. We'll see. Okay, so those who chose pile 2, it says Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundations, divine plan. You have been calling on support. Similarly, you yourself are an entire support system for someone or someones around you. People see you as a builder, as an expert. They see you as constantly creating, and what you create is not for yourself, but for the world. You're laying a foundation for your own life. Maybe you've chosen a new path. But there is a community involved in what it is that you do. At least it feels that way. Or you have split yourself off into so many different forms to act as a community for someone or someones that you love, that need you, that you cherish, that cherish you. Color purple is a big one here. Purple represents the third eye. You see what needs to be done, not just in the material 3D, because you can see things in the world around you that people can't see. Maybe you have a clairvoyance. Either way, you understand the patterns or the grid work that exists as kind of like an overlay to our material reality, and you work with it very well. So let's see what your energy check-in says. Oh, wasn't ready for that one. But that was the peacock. Okay, let's get a Celtic cross for pile number 2. Anna, grandmother of Jesus, what messages do we have for you? So, your current energy is the pearl, the Ace of Pentacles. A new start, a new plan, a new foundation is being laid. And your challenge is the 10 of Wands, or the beetle. Yeah, you're carrying a lot of burdens, and they're not just your own. The beetle is known for like being able to stay in one place for such a long amount of time, as it carries heavy weights on its back. It's such a symbol of strength, but it's also a symbol of stress and overwhelm. Yes, you handle it beautifully and with finesse. Doesn't mean it's not a burden you carry on your back. So you're in an energy where you see a new opportunity more and more. As you look at it, it crystallizes into something so clear. A new start, a new beginning. But there are still these burdens that you carry. So how do you approach it with all this weight on your back is kind of the question here. Unconscious energies are the 2 of Swords, or the vampire. The people around you, they feed off you way too much. Your past energy is the Knight of Swords, or the monster, depicted by this Looks like a rooster. Your conscious energy or conscious goal is the Three of Pentacles, the T. So much community, so many people. And another three in your approaching energy, the Three of Wands, the fox. The key words that stand out are brave, courageous, altruistic with you. Your conscious goal is to be able to share everything that you have with the people around you, to work though in balance so that you're not the one doing everything. Just like the tea, it's made of a lot of different things. It's not just water. You put water in the pot, you add the heat, you add the cloves or the herbs or the tea bag, however you use it. You add a cube of sugar in your cup after you pour it. It's a process. And every single element, ingredient, piece of the tea is crucial, fundamental. Despite how it's one of the simplest drinks ever, it still has a very meticulous, important little process. You want to be able to work on yourself and also work within a community where there's balance. So, you decided in the past, you had this very quick decision to go for it. There was a beast in a cage who was freed, and now this is the energy that he or she is in. You rose early in the morning, just like the rooster. Your call was the first one heard at dawn or before. So, of course, that attracts a lot of people who need direction, who hear that call, who feed off that invigorating energy. So, you're here to begin something new, but you're carrying the burdens of the people around you. And also some of the decisions that you made a little too quickly or hasty in the past, those also are things that you're shouldering now. Your approaching energy is expansion, the fox. Not just adventurous, but clever, smart. And you know, the fox in Japanese tales is the kitsune. And he's kind of a mischievous trickster, but not with malice. It's just the way that he teaches lessons to the community through riddles and getting people to solve it themselves. Once the riddle is solved, the kitsune transforms into its actual form, which is just like a wise old sage. That's your approaching energy. You have a vision and you know what to do to go for it. But there are these little things in your plan that need to be put in order. That's what you're doing. You might be a very organized person. I feel something like really organized about your energy. But your unconscious energy is the Two of Swords. There are certain decisions that you fear making because, as I said, this monster, this rooster, did too much too fast. It's like it robbed you of your energy, and that kind of freaked you out because it made you question, well, how much energy do I really have ultimately? I did so much, but where did it go? Am I ready to invest all of that again? Is it going to be taken from me again? I'm not just a bottomless wealth of energy, am I? How will I find a way to detach from the group, the community, and or this beautifully laid plan to find rest if I ever need it, to find privacy if I ever need it, to find alone time, rejuvenate? How will that ever happen? Is it possible? It's kind of an unconscious thing that's not holding you back, though it feels like it's holding you back. It's actually great for your temperament. It's keeping everything in moderation for you, whether you realize it or not. It's actually a good thing. But you might be somebody who's a go-getter, gets shit done fast. So feeling like there's something inside you that keeps bringing you back to rest, it's good for you, but it gives you anxiety because you don't feel productive unless you're doing. But rest is productive. The fact that it's the vampire also makes me feel like you were like infected with this idea or this notion. It's not just your own. Maybe people around you made you feel like just chill and rest and sit for a minute in a way that was negative. It had like a negative connotation to it or tone. And it kind of infected you and your perception of yourself and made you feel like, well, maybe I am too much. You're not. So you're approaching this with the energy of the Knight, who is the Chariot card. You're quite a fearless warrior of your own life. The climate of the situation, yeah, like I said, temperance for your temperament, the Bell. That's such a bright, happy card. Your hopes and or fears are the bee. Busy bee, representing the busy Eight of Pentacles. Yeah. You hope to be able to get work done, but at the same time, you fear all the work that's required. You fear all of the energy that it's going to require. And you're up for it, but there's something in your unconscious energy. It's stealing your sense of purpose and go get it mentality. And your final outcome in this energy is the Mask, the Six of Pentacles. Lots of pentacles. This is very much not an internal issue that we're reading about. This is very much something you're experiencing in your physical reality out here. And it has a lot to do with work. And whether that's, again, I don't believe that work is your job and what you make money equals your work. That's not the definition of work as I ever saw it. It's what you do in material reality and physical reality, whether or not you make money. It's what you give to people. It's what you do every day as a routine. It's how you take care of yourself and the people that you love. It's how you create and invest your creative energy. This is work. This is what I mean. The people around you see you as a very balanced person. They see you as somebody who will do any and everything that is required for them. But they also see you as somebody who needs to take a break and who needs to like abstain from other people's energy because they do take too much from you. They acknowledge that. And they acknowledge that you know how to convert that into something like rest. That's why they have faith that they can just come to you for everything all the time. They respect you. It's not like they're trying to take from you. It's that they just have so much faith in you because you're so independent and good at maintaining your own energy that they feel free to come to you, to work with you, to collaborate with you, to build with you, to ask you to build for them. You have a lot of direction. You have a lot of clarity. But one thing that you're doing during this phase is balancing it out so that you're able to serve yourself equally as you're able to give to the people around you. it's such an energy of like you've signed on to build a home, for example. Like you've signed up to build a home for a community that needs it. In doing so, you build yourself a home in a way, at least internally. It makes you feel good. It reminds you of who you are, brings you back home to your own roots, your own purpose. So it's definitely a collaboration where two groups are prospering from this. But because of the past, you gave too much at some point and it freaked you out, so you pulled your energy back too soon. That freaked you out. It kind of messed with your view of yourself and your capacity to commit to something and see it through. Right now, you're in a process of remembering that I know exactly how to commit to something. I am incredibly loyal, patient, trustworthy, dependable, reliable, solid. You're remembering that and you're applying it not just to your own life, as I said, but to this community. And your final outcome in this energy is just that, balance, 6 of Pentacles. What you do for other people is a great reflection of what you do for yourself. What you do for yourself equally is a great reflection of what you do for other people. That's why it's so important to take the time to rest. You're working really hard and you're super organized, but don't forget to rest. That's for you and for the people around you who are going to need you to come back at 110% and do what it is you do best. Bottom of the deck. The dog. My favorite card. The High Priestess. Look at those glowing eyes. And we have those glowing eyes with the rooster. We have that glowing eye with the fox. Eyes, eyes, eyes. Your vision is like on another level. As I said, just third eye. We all have like a third eye, but many of us are third eye blind, right? You're not. When you build, it's because you see what can be done in this moment and what possibilities already exist in this moment for you to bring them to the surface for all people to see them, that they exist, that we can all work on it. Your insight is sharp as a tack. People trust you because they know this. You work best in the dark, hidden, but you also work best in the light. You don't care who sees you. You have no problem. Your sense of self is not moved or changed by the impression of other people at all. But you do manage your image very well. What people see of you and how deeply they know you is what you let them know about you. Nobody has clearer insight into you than you let them have. And that's another way of preserving your energy, because you have dealt with certain vampiric energies, as in people who infect you with their own perception of themselves and you and of life. You have a great defense for that. You're able to let go of it easy. You know it doesn't fit your narrative, your being. So you're building something, laying a foundation, sure for yourself, but equally for your community. You fear the level of hard work only because in the past you let yourself down according to your definition of what's reliable. But you're remembering, you're getting back on the ball again. You're remembering who you are and how like well suited for this you are. And it's like, the bell is a thing that like breaks spells. If you don't already have a bell or like wind chimes in your home, you might want to invest in them. Because anytime your thoughts or your energy does feel like it's running away to a place you don't want it to go, there's something about the sound of a bell that is like very grounding It brings you to resonance back with yourself. Not something you really seem to need, but you are human. So once in a while, you will need something like that. Invest in a bell and wind chimes just to remind you of who you are, just in case it ever evades you. If not that, then create like a playlist of music, because sound is really what we're talking about here. Alrighty. I think that'll do. Thank you.